When the 2009 global financial crisis hit, the European Union turned to Italian economist Mario Draghi to steady the bloc. Now Rome is counting on him to steer its sinking economy back to solid ground. Draghi has told President Sergio Matarrella he will form a national government of technocrats after a democratically elected coalition fell apart last month.
Con grande rispetto.
I will look to Parliament, the expression of the popular will, with great respect. I'm confident that unity will emerge from the discussions with the political parties and parliamentary groups, as well as from the dialogue with social organisations.
Public opinion is usually divided in Italy, where more than 65 governments have come and gone since World War II, each serving an average of just over a year.
I think at this point it's better to have a Draghi government than elections because he's a very competent person and he is the #1 in Europe.
We are returning to a government for the banks like in the past, or to a caretaker government which can make big mistakes.
Beyond the challenge of building political consensus, Draghi is inheriting an economy drowning in debt and ravaged by the coronavirus pandemic. GDP contracted 8.9% last year, its sharpest decline in 8 decades. The government says at least 420,000 jobs were lost during this period, and at more than 90,000, Italy has one of the highest COVID-19 death tolls. The EU is giving Rome $243 billion towards pandemic relief efforts and to jumpstart the economy. Now it's a race against time for Draghi to get the political support he needs to put that money to good use. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
For more on this, Emanuele Bracco joins us now from Milan. He's Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Verona and a Senior Lecturer in Economics at Lancaster University. Welcome back to the program, Emanuele. Now, Mario Draghi, as we know, has a nickname, Super Mario, the famed character from those Nintendo video games. And he earned that nickname because he's been credited with not only saving the euro, but also the Eurozone during the debt crisis of 2011 and 2012. Can you remind us about that crisis and how we managed to pull the Eurozone out of it?
Well, pretty much what he did was to use the power of the European Central Bank for these unconventional monetary policies. But even more than that, so this quantitative easing and things that also the Fed in the US and the Bank of England and Bank of Japan have been doing. But I think that he had such a strong personal clout that is most famous for his "whatever it takes" sentence, in which he said in a press conference that he was ready to defend the euro, whatever it takes. And that in itself, its persona, his charisma, together with his actions, was enough to calm the financial markets. And after the "whatever it takes" came these extra sentences that, believe me, it will be enough. So whatever I do, it will be enough to save the euro. So it was not only savvy monetary policy, but also a very strong personal credibility, together with a impressive political ability to have the board of the European Central Bank come together for these unconventional monetary policies. Remember that the board of the European Central Bank has a representative from many countries, has all the governors of the local central bank of the euro area, and with typically the German and Dutch central bank governors being quite hawkish and not wanting to support the southern peripheral countries in their problematic economies. So in this, I think the profile of Mario Draghi comes out as someone who not only was able to save the euro, but also someone who has done this through a very sophisticated political work of having all governors of central bank coming together and having all the European monetary policy authorities joining him in this endeavor.
Yes, no, that's right. And it's easy to forget that during that crisis, Mario Draghi managed to convince Germany, Europe's biggest economy, to come on board with his plans, even though Germany was quite against that whatever it takes attitude. So you would think that with that sort of political savvy, that he'd be suited to this role of trying to form this technocratic government in Italy. But as we know, Italy has a very infamously brutal politics there, and Mario Draghi has never entered that fray before. He's never been in an elected position in Italy. Do you think he's the right man for the job then, and will he succeed?
I very much hope so. I think he is the only man that could do this job at this moment. He's the only person that cannot, to which political parties cannot say no, thank you, please, next. I think at this moment, every political actor in Italy knows that Draghi must, in some way, succeed in forming a government. That's no doubt about it. If tomorrow Mario Draghi says, "Sorry, I couldn't manage to find the votes in Parliament," I think the market will punish Italy in 1 second, and then he'll have to come back and fix the situation. At the same time, he has never held a political position. I agree, an elected position, but he's been for a long time in the bureaucracy of the economics ministry in Italy in the 80s and early 90s. So he's not completely an outsider to the Italian political machinery, also, even if it was 30 years ago. And I do think he will in some way succeed as long as he will find some alliance in the Italian bureaucracy, which is one of the pieces of the country that really needs reform. And he will have to do a very complicated political maneuvering, also considering that a year from now, the post of President of the Republic will be up for election, and he may be interested about taking this job, and therefore he may be needed to find the votes for his own election for the first time as president.
Now, if he does manage to form a government, the cabinet will need to look at the issue of the EU COVID recovery funds, around $267 billion worth. Now, in order to secure those funds, it'll have to convince Brussels that it will enact some reforms within the Italian economy. What sort of changes can we expect?
I think that's a challenging thing. So by the end of April, Italy will have to submit its plan to the European Commission. What Italy needs is well known. Part of it has been written in letters from the Commission to the government, partially from Draghi himself as a European Central Bank governor. Italy needs a better civil service, a more efficient judiciary. And it needs a more efficient education services and school. I don't think Mario Draghi will be able to deliver on all of this. Surely he will be able to submit a proper plan to the European Commission that will be accepted by the European Commission, that may overcome some of the politicking that was blocking the writing up of this plan in these past weeks. And then we'll have about a year and a half to try to enact it, with elections looming and parties, already doing electoral campaigning to gain the votes to win the 2023 or 2022 elections, if they'd be called earlier.
Okay, in the meantime, we'll see if he's successful in actually forming that coalition. Emanuele Bracco, thank you so much again for joining us from Milan.